Hands off DC! Congress shouldn't decide for me! When I say hands off DC, I want you to say Congress shouldn't vote for me! Hands off DC! Congress shouldn't vote for me! Hands off DC! Congress shouldn't vote for me!
And only the fourth disapproval resolution enacted since DC achieved the limited home rule it has had for 50 years.
Our criminal code was written over from the century ago and it badly needs updating. And the council did something that made a lot of sense. They hired nonpartisan experts. They took politics out of it. They listened to legal scholars. And of course, politics is once again triumphing over what should be a serious policy discussion.
So the protesters are still here. They haven't started marching. When they march, then we'll go around with them. But for right now, it's kind of like, let's just get our burger, yeah? And we go. Okay. Oh, chasing someone. Oh, the guy just ran off. You see that, guys? He just jumped out of the car and ran off. Who was trying to steal a car? Do you see that? That was a carjacking. Did you guys see that? That was an attempted carjacking.
Yeah, don't do that. You lucky he said something.
The guy tried to steal a car. Did you guys all see that? The guy absolutely just tried to carjack and then he ran off that way. Where'd he go? DC. Where'd he go, man? So the delivery guy left the car running and ran inside, and then a dude jumped in the car and was going to steal it. But then another guy called the cops, said, hey, that guy's going to steal a car. And the woman's like, yeah, I didn't trust that guy. And the guy just took off running. Oh, we got to save this video. So this is a protest about carjacking laws that are being passed by the Senate. Oh, God. And some guy just tried to carjack a car. He tried to steal the car. You guys can see it in my video. I filmed it.
Just to set the stage before a few more of my colleagues come to speak on this resolution, just moments ago, over at Union Station, where there's a protest going on right now, protesting our actions here, people protesting in favor of this soft-on-crime position that the D.C. Council has taken. Those protesters just witnessed an attempted carjacking. The assailant who was attempting the carjacking was confronted, and as that person fled, they ran right through the crowd. That's the situation that we're dealing with right now, and I so appreciate my colleagues being here to speak on it. Thank you. I yield my time back.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Another day, another hamburger, and another car theft. Almost. So what that was an attempted car robbery from Union Station that took place in the middle of my live stream earlier today. I mean, you can't make this stuff up sometimes. The bad guy ran off through the criminal justice reform protest. Go figure. Anyway, that's boring. Let's go see something interesting, like a bunch of dead congressmen. Yeah? This is Congressional Cemetery on Capitol Hill, a historic cemetery open to the general public. So this is Congressional Cemetery located on Capitol Hill, and this cemetery is simply filled with members of Congress. In fact, this is a senator, Senator Bowden from Virginia, and then this is Congressman James Gillespie from North Carolina, died in 1805. Gives you an idea how long this cemetery has been around. But apparently, as you walk through this cemetery, you find congressmen and other famous Americans just literally all over the place. Yeah, right here we go. Whoop, dog. Here we go. The Honorable Silas Burroughs from the 35th Congress, died 1860. Honorable William Goode from the state of Virginia. Honorable John Schwartz, representative from the state of Pennsylvania. Cyrus Spink from Ohio, Honorable T.L. Harris, Illinois, Honorable Quitman, born from Mississippi, Butler, South Carolina, Norris, New Hampshire, Hogue from Ohio back there, Henderson, a senator from Texas, and on. Look at all these. See all these guys? All these guys are congressmen. All of these rather odd-shaped tombs, these are U.S. congressmen and senators. And there's a bunch of them over here, too. I think there's well over 100 of them. This is like Congressional Row. Oh, here he is. The Honorable John Quincy Adams, a representative in the U.S. Congress for the state of Massachusetts, died 1848. Amazing. Oh, now that I think about it, though, these aren't actually tombs. These are cenotaphs. So these are cenotaphs, not tombs. These are empty tombs. These are just markers for the congressmen who passed away while they were in office or while they were in Washington. So these are not actual tombs, but they're actually just basically memorials. There are, however, some congressmen buried here. Oh, General Thomas Hartley. All right. This sandstone, though, is from the same tomb, or the same quarry that was used for the Capitol building. All right, let's make our way around and see who we can see. It's a very interesting looking tomb with Abraham Lincoln, it looks like. Yep, that's him. That's a memorial. The Matthew Brady Memorial. Matthew Brady was the father of photography, basically. He was a big guy with the daguerreotype and was regarded as one of the earliest photojournalists. It's Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln and a camera. I believe this was him. Matthew Brady. Is this his tomb? Nope, that's a guy named Evans. But here are some of the old photos he took of the Civil War. Oh, there he is, Matthew Brady, that's him. John Phillip Sousa, his band. And there's another one of Ulysses S. Grant. So, U.S. postage stamps inspired by Matthew Brady and photographs of famous people. Amazing stuff. Oh, here it is. Matthew Brady's actual tomb is right here. It's astroturfed. I guess the grass will never grow too high over here. And there's lots of little... I have no idea what's the story behind all the frogs and pennies. But this was donated in honor of him and all the work he did in photography. All right, let's keep exploring. Okay, we have two of the most odd, because Henry Clay, oh wow, I remember him. So these are still more of those cenotaphs. They're kind of everywhere. But there's a really wild tomb next to a very odd one. Let's go take a look and see what the story is here. Alexander McComb, Major General, Commanding in Chief, United States Army, died in 1841, and that is his tomb. Look at that. That's weird. And then over here, look at this. They've got this thingy. I don't know what you call it. Art? Ouroboros? Maybe that's what it is. Forever in Our Hearts. Thomas Stephen Foley. Well, they didn't want him to go quietly, did they? They definitely wanted him to be remembered. All right, let's go down this way. See who else we can see. These are like public vaults, I guess. Yeah, that's the public vault. Built by Congress at a cost of $5,000. This is a temporary shelter, but there were no charge for members of Congress to be stored here, but it was $5 a month for private citizens. Over 6,000 people have been here. Temporary home of John Quincy Adams, William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor, and Vice President John Calhoun. First Lady Dolly Madison spent 2 years in this vault after her death before being transferred to her own vault in Montpelier. The vault fell out of popular use in the 1930s, but was restored in 2005. Now it's a popular special event, VIP room, and tourist stop. So you can rent out the vault if you want to have a party, I guess. Oh, look who's next to that. I think. Let me see. Oh. Tip O'Neill. The Honorable Tip O'Neill, Speaker of the House of Representatives from the 95th to 99th Congress. And Mary Martha, where is it? Yeah, back here. Mary Martha Corinne Morrison Claiborne Boggs Robert. Okay, that's a mouthful, but you probably know her, Betty, as Cokie Roberts from NPR. Cokie Roberts was the daughter of Thomas Hale Boggs, the Senate representative from Louisiana, and Liddy Boggs. And so she was buried next to her father's cenotaph. That's Cokie Roberts' tomb. She passed away in 2019. I remember watching her. You might remember her too if you're my age. All right, let's keep exploring. Oh, I have both sides here. Major General George T. Howard, CSA, Confederate States of America. So they buried Southerners and Northerners in this cemetery. A lot of people just explore this cemetery just to learn about history. There's so many names and interesting tombs. You never know who you're going to discover and find out more about. Let's head down this way. I think there's a couple famous ones down here. Now, I know some of you might say, hey, you're in a cemetery, dude. This is weird. Well, this is kind of a weird cemetery, okay? It was been open for almost 200 years, and it fell into disrepair in the 1970s. In fact, they couldn't even afford to cut the grass. It became vandalized, destroyed. There were bad people hanging out in here until a bunch of dog walkers who like to walk through here decided that they were going to help out the park. So they started self-taxing themselves, charging themselves a small fee each time they walked their dog, and they used that money to start cleaning up the place. That took on the Friends of the Park, or what are they called, the Canine Corps, and the Friends of the Cemetery. They raised more money to help recover the cemetery because it's got so much history inside of it. Now, this was built, back during the Victorian era. This was considered a park. It was the thing to do was to go stroll on the weekend through the park. It just so happened that there were tombs everywhere, but that didn't really bother people back then. I mean, now we have sort of this kind of stigma about cemeteries, but at one time, this was kind of a popular place to be in Washington, if you weren't dead. Now, down over here is a recent addition from the annals of DC history. Let's go find it down here on the right. This is the tomb of the mayor for life, Marion Barry, 1936 to 2014. Marion Christopher Barry, his son died in 2016. I can't remember the details of that, but he was tragically taken at a young age. Mayor for life Barry, that's what we called him in DC. Extremely popular despite his flaws that many of you, knew about and read about and saw in court. Anyway, that's where Marion Barry is buried with all the congressmen. Let's see who else is around here. All right, we're gonna leave Marion Barry and make our way up to some law enforcement tombs that are up here. Let's go take a look. Here it is. The one with a fence and some bushes growing around it, and even a bench so you can sit and take a look. And of course the seal of the agency that he loves so much, the FBI. This is the tomb of J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover is buried here in Congressional Cemetery along with some of his ancestors and family. And this is the FBI's tomb. Pretty funky. Now within long spitting distance of J. Edgar Hoover, that is the DC jail. Yeah, right over there is the DC jail. That's where the January 6 people are being held, along with DC's large collection of other prisoners. Now we're gonna go back in time, somewhere back up here, if we can find it. More of these cenotaphs. So apparently there are 171 of these cenotaphs, but 80 of them actually have the remains of the congressman or senator. The others are empty cenotaphs. There's a big one over there. Is the one I'm looking for. Let's go take a look. Tobias Lear, George Washington's personal assistant. And Lear made a fortune investing in the city, but he worked with Washington many years. Died in 1816. This is it, Elbridge Gerry. I thought it was it. It's the most ornate one in this row. You guys know who Elbridge Gerry is? He was the Vice President of the United States under James Madison. Died at age 70 in 1800s. He is the only signer of the Declaration of Independence interred in D.C. (1829). Thornton is Pushmataha, a warrior of great distinction. He was an Indian chief, or Native American chief, of the Choctaw tribe. There's a couple Choctaw chiefs that are buried here in this memorial. Pushmataha led 1,000 warriors in the attack on New Orleans with Andrew Jackson. They fought very bravely, and he was the representative of the Choctaw Nation in negotiations regarding a treaty in Washington, D.C. He died just a little bit before the signing of the treaty and was given a military funeral, and Andrew Jackson came as well to attend the funeral. These cenotaphs, they're like pretty sus. I mean, honestly, they look pretty weird. I think one congressman said he never wanted to be underneath one of these for the rest of his eternity. It's just too frightening of a thought. This is Paul Marshall Mester Hazy, and for some reason he is guarded by the Avengers. He's got a Captain America shield on his tomb, and he's got all of these little dudes out in front protecting him. All right, we repaired his guardians so they can cover his tomb properly. So down over here, this is more of the cemetery, but this is for pets. The kingdom of animals. And people have buried their pets. Millie, Bradley, the little puppy. Oh, some cute dogs. Mabel, Blaine. But this is the pet cemetery portion of Congressional Cemetery. Ollie and Max, Armani. Best dog ever. Rescue mutt. Best friend. These are called healing poles. They were carved by the Lumni Nation of Washington State in commemoration of those who lost their lives on 9/11. Let's see if I can show you a little picture of them. Sure is a pretty path. Lots of trees. In fact, there's some cherry blossoms just starting to bud down ahead. I think right back here is a DC born, yep, a very famous American. John Phillip Sousa, leader of the United States Marine Band 1880 to 1892. The man who wrote Stars and Stripes Forever and the Washington Post March and many other big military marching band songs. He was born in Washington, D.C., and he was laid to rest right here in Congressional Cemetery. On his tomb, they actually have a musical score. I'm not actually sure what the music is, but you can look at the notes, and the notes are right there. Now you see he was born on November 6, 1854, and Marines being Marines, well, every year on November 6, 1854, the U.S. Marine Corps Band marches into this cemetery, surrounds this tomb, and plays his songs in tribute to him. I'll try to film him next November. All right, let's head over this way. I don't know if you can make it out, but those are the cherry blossoms. They're a little bit ahead of the cherry blossoms at the tidal basin. So probably early next week, these will be in bloom, and then the cherry blossoms at the tidal basin in 2 weeks. Okay, let's make our way past these. Oh, there's Senator Calhoun. These are some famous names from the U.S. Senate and Civil War days and all that even. Helicopter going the other way. That's not, that is, oh, it's a VH-92. Yep, VH-92, the new Marine One, and he's behind the trees right now. Where's he going? There he is. He's going out to Andrews or something? Maybe. They do test flights all the time. That will be the new Marine One eventually. I know you guys are going to think I'm geeky, but I knew that was the VH-92 by the sound. Yeah, each helicopter has a pretty distinct sound, and I kind of recognized that was not a Black Hawk coming. I'm a geek. Okay, time to leave the cemetery. Okay guys, we're back at the White House. A lot of you asked me about some moving trucks that were outside yesterday. Don't know if they're there today. To be honest, it's a pretty common thing to see moving trucks in front of the White House, but we'll go take a look. Whenever there's a big event, they bring in tables and chairs and other stuff, napkins, placemats, dishes. It's not like they have a lot of storage in the building. And they set up, I don't know what event's going on this week though, if there is one. Blair House. Wow, look at these trees.
I'm feeling that a little more.
Some sort of cherry blossom, I think. Not the same as the ones on the tidal basin, but definitely pretty. Are these cherry blossoms or red buds? I don't know, you guys be the judge. All right, let's head down this way. Everything's in bloom in the park today. Look at that. All the magnolias blooming, and then even over on the other side. Oh, there are a bunch of moving trucks over there today. We'll go take a look, yeah? What do we got in the park? We got protesters on the Uyghurs. And we've got this guy who's always protesting. We have construction underway on the lodge. That was the one that was burned during the George Floyd protests. They're working on that today. Got a dog team. Pretty quiet day. All right, let's go take a closer look at these big trucks. You know what? Let's pull out the big camera and the big lens. Make it a lot easier to see it, yeah? So we're here, we can show you the big trucks in front of the White House. There's about 5 or 6 of these guys. And on the side it says Encore. What does it say? Hang on, let's zoom in. Events that transform. So it must be some sort of events company. It says Encore, events that transform. There's another one, Encore truck. This one says, hang on a second. Hargrove from Encore. Oh, could this be the Easter egg rig? You know, they could be getting ready for the Easter egg roll. But that's still like, it's like a month away, isn't it? No, this can't be the Easter eggs. So, that's what the big trucks are here at the White House. Okay guys, well that is a pretty crazy Wednesday here in Washington, D.C. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I will be back tomorrow from the White House. Biden is on his way up to Philadelphia. I should be there for the helicopters, and if not, we'll just go somewhere else outside the White House and show you what I can see. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.